Hello, brothers and sisters. Today is January the 26th in the year of our Lord, 2022, and today's article comes from Harper's Weekly, January 17th, 1874, from the Religious Intelligence section. It says, "The Pall Mall Gazette gives an amusing account of the interview of the English nonconformist ministers who attend the Evangelical Alliance with Henry Ward Beecher. They were deputed to invite him to preach the annual sermon before the London Missionary Society next May. They met him immediately after he had delivered his address on the pulpit of the age. After the formal introduction to each minister, says the Pall Mall, one followed the other in set speeches, urging him to accept the invitation. Like many other clever men, Mr. Beecher probably prefers to talk much to others than to be much talked to. So he tried under this infliction, and just as one of the gravest members of the deputation began, in measured phrases, to support the petition of his brethren, the New York divine cut in and said, "I guess I should like to go to England very well, if it wasn't for the preaching." The solemn delegates looked at one another in dismay, and were still more appalled when Mr. Beecher put on a very unclerical, military-looking cloak, with a wide-awake hat, and sat down on the table, dangling his legs a few inches from the floor. There was an embarrassing pause, says a New York correspondent of the Sheffield Telegraph, who appears to be in Mr. Beecher's confidence, and gives a graphic description of the interview. I really think Mr. Beecher was afraid that somebody would suggest prayer. His object was to break through the English primness and stiffness to dispel a too clerical atmosphere, and joke the English ministers down into naturalness. But as he only partially succeeded in this enterprise, he said seriously, "I can't preach up to great expectations. I can only talk, and I must talk naturally. So I might disappoint you all." "Ah," then replied one of the deputation, kindling up, "but that's just what we want. Your naturalness has been a revelation to me, and I want it to be a revelation to our young ministers, so English divines next May will be able to study pulpit oratory from Mr. Beecher's point of view. And if he teach any considerable number of them to be easy and natural without being coarse or vulgar, he will perhaps do even a greater service to the Christians than to the heathen." That's all I have for you guys today. Until next time, God bless.